You're listening to the PMU Student. This podcast serves as a virtual study group for cosmetic tattoo artists. Together, we're creating an educational hub for SMP and PMU professionals. And I'm the group's facilitator, Leslie Bland. So let's dive in. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the PMU Student. Today's episode, I get to speak with an artist that I'm truly inspired by. She and I met about a year ago on Instagram. We saw each other's artistry. We decided to follow each other, and she started sending me intentional feedback that really helped grow my artistry. When I got to know her a bit better, I realized that her whole mission is about uplifting women, particularly through her artistry, but she ended up uplifting me and provided me with guidance and mentorship in a time when I really needed it. And so I respect her as an artist, as a human, and once you hear her speak, you will too. So stick around because we're about to speak with BB Kim, a cosmetic tattoo artist who specializes in ombre brows.
Hi, my name is Bibi. My real name is Binna, but I go by Bibi. And I've been in the industry for a little over a year. And I'm just tearing up because, I know how hard we work at this craft. And it's not just the art, it is everything. But a little bit about me, I am a teacher. My training is in education. I have been a teacher in Korea. Now I teach at a community college. I teach at a middle school. But this is my baby right here, Brows by BB.
Yeah.
And my mission has always been to serve and to uplift and help people. And I do that through teaching. But I was fortunate, very fortunate to be able to enter this industry with a wonderful mentor. And so I have been doing this for a little over a year. And it's been incredible, hard, incredibly wonderful, incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
But I believe nothing worth doing is going to be easy. It's going to have its challenges. And here we are.
Here we are. That's amazing. And so that's so interesting that you're still working as a teacher right now. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
I
Full
think
time.
that's so great. I think it's important for people, like, if you're not ready to leave your 9 to 5, stay at your 9 to 5. And BB, you may not know this about me, but I also was a teacher. And yeah, I was.
Yeah, this is why we connected.
Yeah. That's why I was so impressed by your feedback, because it's our educational training, right? Like, you give feedback that they can actually use and move on, and it like sets the tone for their work. And so when you did that, I was like, oh, she must be an educator, because her feedback is very specific and intentional. So, and then as I saw you progress, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, I think it's amazing how you interact with people. But I did leave my 9 to 5. I was feeling a bit burnt out in the industry. And while I do love education, obviously I have a platform that's about education. I would just like to say, if you can stay at your 9 to 5 and do this and build it up, I think that's the best route to go. Because what I didn't know is that it was going to be, for me at least, it's a slow process to build up a clientele.
Girl, I'm
And
going to tell you right now, the fastest way to get to where we want to go, is slow.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I'll be very transparent that I actually started substituting not too long ago, because I thought, I might need to go back into a 9 to 5 until I can build up to where I'm comfortable. I'm still resisting it, because that substituting took me out, but you're absolutely right. For me, I wanted to go very fast, because I think I got caught up in the Instagram of everything with the people that had like 500,000 followers. And I was like, that's amazing. Like, I could do that. And while I do think I can, you're right. You got to go slow unless you already have that clientele. Like, you have to stay humble, start at the bottom and just trickle it up. And so, yeah, that's very smart. But I do want to get into that, but I want to push back a bit, because I want to see how your mission, to uplift women through your artistry, ties in with your educational training. And I want you to expand more on that, on how you're actually doing that, because I know what you've done for me, but how are you doing that with your clients? How have you seen yourself be impactful in just the cosmetic tattooing space?
I used to be very insecure, and I think we all carry that as women. Some people maybe born with better genes, whatnot, but it's our perception. And so for me, always felt insecure. I was uncomfortable with myself. So of course I'm uncomfortable around other women. And so
Mm.
when I took this journey on, you're forced to be around women, but not just women. I mean, I'm not saying men, but typically my clients are all female. You are
Mm-hmm.
so intimate and so close.
Yeah.
And I thought, the universe, God really wants to make me grow. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was able to see through my clients, the people that, and I believe that there's abundance of clients. The people that
Mm-hmm.
come to me are meant for me. It's not
Mm-hmm.
just about brows. And so when we as artists are able to be in that intimate space, literally you're like this, right? For the few hours, and you're able to do something for them that makes them feel beautiful.
Yeah.
And in that intimate space, a lot of times conversations come out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many times I've gone when we were crying, talking about things, and we're able to be vulnerable. So there's that
Mm-hmm.
artistry aspect where people come to you and they have brow insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
But every time, Leslie, I have a client and I'm working on them, I'm praying in my heart, in my mind, say, as I tattoo, of course, I hope they turn out beautiful. But I also say, whatever this person is carrying, God, I pray
Yeah.
for this person. So it's really personal to me. And you mentioned
Mm-hmm.
the journey being slow. There's nothing wrong with having a 9 to 5. I actually love teaching. And I think that's
Yeah.
where the disconnect maybe is because I want to put so much of my energy into my art in
Mm-hmm.
this, but I also have bills, girl,
Yeah.
single mom.
Yeah.
So when I'm in this classroom, love the babies, love that. So I say, I got to do both. And in some ways, I get to uplift the students there. And I think ultimately our goal in life is to help people.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, this is really personal because I am able to help women, but I was able to heal within myself that no
Mm-hmm.
matter what this looks like, right?
Yeah.
That true beauty is we all comes from here,
Yeah.
And so to have a hand in that, I feel very blessed. It's blessing.
Yeah. I want to get to that, but I want to say, baby, maybe you don't see what I see, but you're stunning. Like I noticed that on
Girl,
your
thank
Instagram.
you.
Yeah, your eyebrows are fly. Like you're just beautiful, and so. But I
Wow.
know if you have that, then it's no matter what anybody says, like that's on you. But I
Mhm.
do hope you know when the world sees you, you're not some average girl. Like you're really pretty.
I was
So
gonna say, as brow artists, our brows have to be fly.
yeah, absolutely,
Because
always.
I was like, oh, her brows are not good. I'm not going to.
Exactly, exactly.
Oh, thank you. You're very.
Yeah.
I'm a girl mom. I have 2 girls, and
Mm-hmm.
and I know it doesn't matter how many times we tell somebody you're beautiful, you're smart, you're this and that. If we
Mm-hmm.
truly don't believe it in our hearts,
Yeah.
none of it matters, right? And it's a journey. It's a journey.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a
Mm-hmm.
journey. Some days you feel good, some days not. But this whole artistry of the brow business, it's not just, oh, it's a business that you make. No, it's so personal. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's like a baby that you grow, you know,
Yeah.
tender
Yeah.
love. Some days you have good days, some days are bad, some days you have really great days, and some days you have milestones. This is a
Yeah.
milestone for us, Leslie. You and I
Mm-hmm.
started similar time. Your
Yeah.
goals, my goals, we have, and part of the glam of this profession is the financial freedom,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
time freedom. But what they don't tell you is you can't take a 3-day course and get there. You got to
Right.
put in every single day, blood, sweat, and tears, not to mention
Yes.
social media.
Mm-hmm.
Every It is hard work. It is
Mm-hmm.
one of the hardest things I'm doing. And I
It
work hard.
is.
This is hard.
Yeah. It is. And you mentioned how you have that connection with your client and you're providing this service and trying to hopefully transform how they feel about themselves. I don't think people understand how stressful that is. How when you're working on this person, you are now like a part of how they're going to view themselves.
Mhm.
And I'll be really transparent. One time I did someone and her brows, it healed beautifully, but it was like the first time I was really on my own and I just didn't feel like I had done as well as I could have. And when she left, I sat down and cried. I canceled my plans for like the rest
Oh,
of the night and went home and went to bed. And
girl.
she called me the next day and said she liked it. And I like rejoiced. But at the same time, it took so much out of me because it's such a stressful thing. They're trusting you. You're putting a needle to their face. You're doing something that's
You're
permanent. Like
tattooing
it is,
somebody's face.
yeah.
Talk about that, how brave you are, how brave all
Mm,
permanent makeup artists, and it's like we are our worst critic, right?
we are, yeah.
We are. I know. Oh, girl.
Yeah.
I think this is, and one of the questions that you put is, I think this is where mentorship and continuing
Mm-hmm.
education. So you come, I think you will appreciate this, Leslie, because as an educator, how many years that we spent in the classroom ourselves to get our
Yeah.
degrees, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
professional learning, professional development
Right.
continually. And so the
Mm-hmm.
idea of this that people maybe don't have that educational background is to
Mm-hmm.
me it's mind-boggling. And so
Mm.
when we start off, it's like first year in the classroom, you're not going to be as seasoned as after 10 years. And I think that's
Right.
the same thing with our art. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we gain more confidence the more we do. And that's why it's important to take on models.
Yep.
You know, if you're slow, take on models, discount your price. Or at the beginning, take on free models.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot stress enough how important it is to do work on the pad,
Oh yeah.
drawing,
Mhm.
practicing. Doesn't
Mhm.
matter 5 minutes, 10 minutes, needle pressure, taking
Mhm.
classes, online classes, follow all the top artists,
Mhm.
see, save their videos, watch it. It's not
Mhm.
going to happen overnight. But you're
Right.
right. I sometimes tattoo, and you know the different pressure and depth. One time, a client, after I wiped, it was red. And I'm
Mm.
and you can't show that panic.
Right.
They're like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, okay. And you confidently say, okay, your skin's a little irritated. We're going to watch it for a little bit. Luckily, and then you know the different kind of skin type. It takes pigment differently, right?
Absolutely.
And then
Mhm.
I, of course, call my mentor. I look online, and it's like sometimes it's just irritated, and it's okay. And so these kind of moments.
Mhm.
But I think because we're doing something great, you're going to have moments where you cry. And if
Yeah.
you weren't crying, that means you don't care about your work. You
True.
cry because you care so much.
Yeah.
And, and even my mentor, I'm going to put in a plug. Casey Kim Browse is my sister. And I also
Mhm.
have other mentors because I believe in PD. I've taken
Mhm.
Butter Brows from Nina.
Oh
I've
yeah.
taken whatnot. But it's like you lean on your mentor and this is what happened. And they reassure you. And we need that. It takes I'm a mom. Oh, it takes a village to raise a child. No, we need village. We need a village. When we started, I started the 21-day challenge because I wanted to build community. You need,
Mhm.
bro, because it's hard. You're gonna have days where you're like, man, I messed up. You know.
Yeah. That was a yeah, I all that is amazing and I do remember the 21-day challenge that you started and I really needed that at that time because I think I was right after my training and a bit lost, and I needed community so badly. And like you provided that, that was amazing. And it was amazing to see how you were able to cultivate a community. Like I didn't know you,
I don't
but
know
I
what I was
believed in
doing.
you. And I
Nobody
was like,
knows.
when I can participate, I will. I always
Yeah.
forget that, BB, you are the girl. Like, yeah, you're really inspirational when it comes to community. And yeah, I
It's
love
all
that.
about community, babe. It's all about
Yeah,
because you want the same things I do. This whole mentality of like you versus I, it ain't even about that. Do you
yeah,
know what I'm saying? And I've had people like that, and I'm like, okay, what I'm learning from you is not to be like you.
right.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Bye bye. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
we
that is
want
one
the same
thing I've
things.
also experienced in this community and that's and I've been trying to figure out like where that comes from and I'm just like we're not even in the same like city. Like I'm not your competition, you know?
So that's a scarcity mindset versus abundant mindset. And I also understand both ways because maybe they feel like they've put in the investment, the time, and they don't want to share. Like, why would they give it away free? So in that
Okay.
regards, I get it.
Mhm.
But I've also had, for example, when I started making videos and I had to figure all this out, and I never had an Instagram before any of this. It's very
Mhm.
overwhelming. Social media is a whole nother conversation. But
Yeah.
somebody had this video, and I was like, wow, how did she do that? That was awesome. I sent her a message, and she said, oh, I use this app. And I was like, wow, that's cool. And so her modeling abundant mindset when people ask me, I will do the same. And,
Mm.
you can't change that. If people have that scarcity mindset, then that's who they are. And I try not to take it personal. I'm like, okay, this is what they're like, and I will just not be like them, you
Yeah,
know?
I agree, and I understand it as well. One thing that I said in the first episode that will launch is that I understand this group is not about showing you anybody's technique, because if somebody developed that, then that's theirs and you should pay them for that work. But when it's something that is common in the industry, that is not going to take away from you at all, share that. Versus like something that you created, I will never ask you for that, because that is, I need to pay you for that. So yeah, I didn't think about it that way, but I think that I hope that with this podcast there can be a lifting of the gatekeeping, but then also a place where we can set firm boundaries about like what you
Mhm.
should be paying for, and then what's not going to take away your shine. That might be too much, but I just, do you know where I'm coming from when I say that?
100%.
Okay,
100%.
yeah, because I
I
think that. Oh,
I
go ahead.
love, Leslie, I love that you're doing this. I'm so excited for you. This
Um,
podcast. I follow Girls Inc. Follow her. I listen to her podcast. I met her
mhm,
at the conference, and we
mhm,
need more of this. A space where people can share and relate, and so we don't feel like
mhm,
we're on an island by ourselves. I think that this platform, what you're creating, and
mhm,
especially with your education background, is going
mhm,
to create a safe space for people to relate,
mhm,
for people to connect, and give hope for a lot of new artists. And you and I both know these 2, 3 day classes, while they're well intended
mhm,
for advanced artists,
mhm,
if I were to, in the near future or in the future, to have my classes, I would do like a whatever mentorship. It has to be like 30, 60 days where they're in the studio with you, not
yeah,
just technique, but how, body placement, wiping. And that's where I
mhm.
was fortunate. I spent a whole summer with my sister in
Oh
California.
wow,
I was in her studio every single day, setting up that tray, wiping the stuff, greeting clients. I mean, you got to do A to Z. It's not just like, okay, this is what you do.
mhm,
So I just, there needs to be a shift in that. And I know some states are regulating it more. So you need
yeah.
to do a 90-day or 60-day, which I love. I
Yeah,
love
yeah. Yeah, that's amazing that you got. First of all, I've seen your sister's work. Say her name again.
Casey Kim Browse. Whoop,
Casey
whoop.
Kim Browse. Yeah. And I'll link her in the show notes. So I've seen her work and it's beautiful. And to be in the presence of that artist for 2 months, that's amazing. And not many people get that. And the regulations have changed. In my state, we now have to become tattoo artists. So we have
Oh,
to go through a 300-hour apprenticeship. Yeah.
it's so easy to get discouraged.
Hmm.
And I know you can relate to this. With education, there are steps. You take this many PD credits, you get this pay scale, you get this, you get da 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 da. But
Hmm.
entrepreneurship, and especially where you have to attract the client, you have to do the advertising, you, it is so easy to get discouraged.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
There's this one saying that's been helping me recently, and I follow a lot of motivational quotes and memes, that if you can get 1% better every day, because
Mm.
we see where we want to go. Like, I know
Mhm.
my goal and dreams. I see that mountaintop and I see where I'm at. And I'm like, God dang it, I'm not there because I'm looking at that. But if I'm focusing on the present, like right now, the fact that we're doing this, I am
Mm.
1% better. You are
Mm.
1% better.
Yeah.
And I feel good about that. I'm like, man, but if I'm just focusing on my bank account or lack of clients or whatever, no, baby, no. I am 1% better. And to me, like, it's that reframing of the mind. Some people
Mhm.
may be
Mhm.
easier. They can think positive, but girl, I grew up just, I think, like you said, we are our worst own critic. And I
Mhm.
think we have to learn to reframe and to stay in that positive mindset, abundant
Mhm.
mindset, even though we're not where we are. And then when
Sure.
we turn around and we look back, we're like, holy shit, look
Yeah.
at me, look at you, look at us,
Yeah.
and celebrating. So for me today, it's like, oh my God, I just took another step towards my business. And this is, that
Yeah.
reframing has helped a lot.
You've been making a lot of steps. So, you were recently I think you were previewed in a publication. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Talk about that a bit.
I'm going to put in a plug for God and the universe. If it wasn't for God, universe, whatever you want to call it, guardian angels,
Sure.
for me, I summon all of them.
Yeah,
God,
absolutely. We
universe,
need all the help.
Jesus, or Buddha. But I believe things happen for a reason. And when you put yourself and your intentions out there, things
Mhm.
happen and you just have to trust. And so I started out in a studio space back last September and it was
Mhm.
wonderful. But I was like,
Mhm.
I want to move into a medical spa. I want to move into a medical spa.
Mm.
And so the universe provided, I work out of a Grace Met Spa, which is 5 minutes from my house, Leslie. And
Nice.
it's the most beautiful space with women that empower. It's like every time I'm in there, I'm like, how did I get this space? How am I here? How am I surrounded by these wonderful women, this clientele and everything? And you just say, thank you. You say, thank you, God. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, universe.
Mm-hmm.
So while I believe that you have to do the work, and I always, this is not my words, but if you got to we have to run as fast as possible to catch that bus, and you're going to have buses passing by. And then when you get on that bus, it's like I am doing the work and the universe will meet me. But
Yeah.
if I'm just sitting on my ass, just
Mm-hmm.
praying and hoping,
Mm-hmm.
nothing's happening.
Yeah.
So I feel like God, the universe meet us where we meet ourselves, right?
Sure.
And so the publication, the Grace Medical Spa, Emma, she's the PA. She's like, BB, we're doing this publication. Do you want to be a part of it? No dime on my part. I was like, really? Yes, yes. And I just say thank you. And then you reaching out with this, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
really? Thank you. And here we are.
And
I'm such
here
a
we
mess.
are.
I'm such a
That's
mess.
amazing.
With the client on my hands, like can't contaminated. I start crying. I'm like, I can't walk this out.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. So, yeah, it seems like I love this optimism that you hold. And I want to give like some words to artists that are interested in being in this industry, but are a bit nervous, particularly about their abilities. Because I will say that I I've never been like an artist with my hands. I used to do photography when I was younger, but never like drawing. So if somebody's interested in being in this industry, you did say you need to practice, but what else do they need to have in themselves to be able to come in and really own their space and start doing any type of cosmetic procedure?
Logistically, you need to take classes. Do
Okay.
your research. There's a lot of information, free information out there. Don't
Mm-hmm.
just sign up with a class with just what you see. See what's out there. There are, and don't just take one. Take from
Mm-hmm.
numerous artists. You will,
Mm-hmm.
and oftentimes in-person classes are going to be more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Online classes also just as I thought helpful. Take a bunch of classes, get on Instagram, follow. Um, don't wait until you have it all figured out. Jump, and the net will appear.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, show up and do something. Oftentimes, my blockage was, oh, I have to do something. It's gonna no, even if it's for 5 minutes. I mean, I have my gun and my thing all right here. So if I'm
Mm-hmm.
like about to go to bed at 15 minutes, I can just bust it out, get a note,
Mm-hmm.
do something
Mm-hmm.
every day. Hold yourself
Mm-hmm.
accountable. It took me a year to actually do this. My sister said, why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? And I put myself in a box. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
teacher. Like you said, you didn't work with your hands. Right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
a teacher. I'm an educator, but I felt very frustrated because I want to be able to provide for my girls financially and do extracurricular stuff. And I couldn't do it on a teacher salary. And especially now as a single mom. And so financial freedom was part of it. So whatever
Mm-hmm.
your why is, show up every single day and do it. And don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. And you will, but we have to cultivate being our own cheerleader.
Yeah.
And you're going to suck. I should show you some of mine.
True.
You're going to suck. You're going to suck,
Yeah.
but it's okay. It's okay. You should be proud it sucks. At least you're doing it. What's cool is you put your stuff out there and then you look back and you're like, holy moly, look at my work now, right? There's somebody out there wishing that they were you, where you are, where we are, and
Mm-hmm.
they just think, I want to do, but they don't.
Yeah.
I've seen some artists come and go.
Same.
A
Yeah.
lot, actually. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not easy, but yeah, back to your question is don't wait, jump, the net will appear, show up every day, get curious. You know, a lot of stuff is on social media, Instagram, TikTok, follow the
Hmm.
artists, look at their work.
Yeah. Okay. So we're about to wrap it up. I do want to know what's your aspiration for your business? I know why you're doing it, but what do you hope to build it out to?
Oh,
If
girl.
you can, if you don't want to share that part just yet,
No,
that's okay.
I
But
said everything.
oh,
I want to be fully booked three
mhm.
months out.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And I don't, because I want to continue teaching because I love teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take clients appointment by appointment, um, and have the financial freedom
Mm-hmm.
to support my family, support my girls,
Mm-hmm.
support myself, and build community and continue to hone my craft,
Mm-hmm.
continue to learn,
Mm-hmm.
um, and and teach. I love teaching. So
Mm-hmm.
get to a place in my career where I can teach others,
Mm-hmm.
mentor others,
Mm-hmm.
be on a stage one day at a permanent makeup conference, inspire, share my
Yeah.
story, show my techniques. Don't gatekeep, you know? I respect your time and my time, and I know we got to go, but I want to kind of flip the switch on you. What is your aspiration?
Oh, okay. All right. My aspirations. So I have so many different interests, but my background is in education, community building, and technology. And so I want to merge all that together. I like to make a space where cosmetic tattoo artists can come and learn in Missouri and become certified to get the 300 hours they need at a price that's accessible. Yeah. Because when I was becoming a tattoo artist, I had to leave Missouri to become a tattoo artist because all the cosmetic tattoo artists or the PMU artists were quoting me like $12,000. And I was like, yo, I'm a teacher. Like $12,000. That's half my salary, yo. Like, I
I
can't do that.
didn't like, I know.
Yeah, it was cheaper for me to fly to Miami and to go to California than to stay in Missouri. But I could not imagine charging somebody $12,000 to get training to like, to get into the industry. So ideally, I'd be able to open up my educational background by creating some type of classroom that infused technology and created an amazing space for mentorship where you can
Mm,
walk in and you don't feel weird. You just feel like I'm supposed to be here. And if my instructor Leslie can help me out, great. But if not, anybody that's working here is going
mm.
to help me out because it's a learning tattoo shop.
As you're talking, what comes to mind is Career Technology Center in public schools to be able to maybe
Mhm,
create a platform where you can create the curriculum
mhm,
where this service or this kind of industry doesn't have to be for people to come up with $12,000. What if somebody that is grew up with, underprivileged, they don't have the money, but they got skill and they got passion. They should have
mhm,
those opportunities, scholarships. Why not?
mhm. I agree. I want everybody to get paid. I'm all about the money.
Mm,
To not all about the money, but I'm all about you getting paid. But I do think that there's, like you said, ways to go about it that allows everybody to get in with
mm,
everybody getting paid. And so that is
mhm,
still something I'm trying to figure out. But I'm
mm,
not there yet. But when I do, I think that it will be something where people don't feel like they're being gypped out of money,
mhm,
and they shouldn't be. But also, I was in my apprenticeship, and people, it wasn't one where you paid all the money up front. You could do like a payment plan, but people were like running out of money and dropping out. And I was like, dang, you've invested so much so far and now you have to drop out. That's madness to me. That's so crazy. And so I would never want to see that for somebody, because this is, while you and I were able to go and become educators first and then come into this space, some people, this is their only and last resort. And so it's like, you
mhm.
can do something about that. Nobody should have to drop out after they've invested $3,000, which may not be a lot to some people, but
That's a lot of
to
money.
it's a lot of money when
It's a
you
lot
don't
of
have
money.
$3,000. And as a
Mm,
teacher, I'll be very transparent. At one time, that was my entire month's salary, was the $3,000. So I was like, to give it to somebody's entire month's salary to
mhm.
go and do something, and then you kick them out of an apprenticeship. A lot of people get kicked out of apprenticeships and they keep the money and they don't get licensed,
See, I
or they
can't.
run out. Yeah,
I
that it's so messy. So I cannot imagine if I had a space to provide a respectable, culturally competent, and like comprehensive learning environment that anybody would have to experience. So in the long term, that's where I want to be.
I love it. I
Yeah,
freaking love
thank
it, and I
you.
can see it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm gonna bring it back to you, and we have questions that I ask everybody after as we're ending. I want to know, what is one thing you do daily that you must do really to feel successful?
Oh, girl, I understand the art. You need to practice. You need to do social media. You have to do all of that. But for me, the self-care aspect is so important. I work out
Mhm.
6 to 7 days a week. Doesn't
Oh
matter how
yeah.
busy I
Okay.
am. I make that time for myself. I try to get sleep. I journal, I meditate, I try to eat lots of fruits and vegetables. And while this has nothing to do with the art itself, that's nourishing me. So if
Sure.
I'm the best version of me, I
Yeah.
can give that to my clients. So
Yeah,
you need to take
absolutely.
care of you. And for me, it has been fitness because it just that is what it is. So maybe for somebody, it's taking a walk. So don't think just the business. It's like you need to take care of you. And oftentimes we
Yeah.
associate self-care with like, oh, getting your nails done, which is fine, but
Mhm.
oftentimes self-care is hard work, getting therapy,
Mhm.
all
Mhm.
of that stuff.
Mhm.
And for me, it was, unfortunately, I had wonderful 15 years of marriage, love,
Mhm.
respect him, but it was our time. So, going through that and rebuilding my life now. But yeah, self-care is important. And to be gentle with yourself. Oh my God,
Yeah.
be gentle with yourself. You're
Mhm.
doing something brave, something amazing. It's so easy to just get down on yourself. Just
Mhm.
be gentle. And that 1% rule, just be like, what did I do today to get better?
Right, right.
Days you're going to take a few steps back and be like, I took a few steps back. So, okay, baby.
Mhm.
I always like to reframe like, okay, if I find myself being really hard on myself, I'll say, okay, BB, what would you tell your best friend who's going through the same
Mhm.
thing? I would say,
Mhm.
girl, you're a bad bitch. You got
Yeah.
this. You're just a little tired. Rest. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to like listen to myself, telling myself this. And I'm like, okay. So if I would do that to my best friend, why am I berating myself?
Right. Yeah.
Right? So that
Yeah, you
I know
definitely owe
this is
yourself
the last
grace for
thing you
sure.
asked, like, can I please pray? Like, not like close my eyes, but can I just like pray and just put the energy out there on your show? Or is that too much?
No, girl, I love a prayer. Yes, bless me. Go ahead.
Right. Dear universe, dear God, dear guardian angels, and to all the people that are listening, whether you are an inspiring PMU artist, if you're a PMU artist yourself, you are amazing. Keep going. And universe, I pray for Leslie and her baby, what the things that she's trying to do. Universe, when you put intentions and dreams and goals and desires into our hearts, it is there for a reason. Okay. It doesn't come to us just out of the blue. Please give us the courage, the patience, and the resilience to see it through and to help us to have successes and to keep going, help us to build community and to ultimately change lives and to uplift each other, not just our clients, but ourselves. Help Leslie to see all of her dreams come to fruition and mine's as well. Thank you for this space. Thank you for this time today. And we are so grateful. Thank you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, BB. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Girl, I love you.
Me too. BB, we can end right there. That was so good. So we don't have to.
I'm going to the gym now. I'm a high today because I'm like, oh my God, this is such a great way to start my weekend. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep following you
Oh,
in your
thank
journey.
you. Absolutely. And I'm excited to see what you do as well, BB.
Mhm.
All right, everyone, that's all we have for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. I cannot wait to connect with each one of you. Let's start on the Discord server. As you know, the invite is in the show notes. So if you need to reach out to me, you can reach out to me there. Also, make sure you check out our website, thepmustudent.com. I would love to feature your story on thepmustudent.com. As I mentioned before, if you think that you're not a writer or your story is not significant enough, you're wrong, babes. Because every story is important. And I'm not just saying that. I can edit it. We can jazz it up. Listen, if you read my article about when I lived in New Orleans, lived in Beyonce's neighborhood, that was simply a walk through a neighborhood, but it was jazzy, right? I can help you. So don't think your story is not significant enough or that your writing is not good enough to be featured on the site, because I'm going to edit it or we're going to work together to get it posted. So make sure you check out that site. Make sure you reach out to me on Discord. And if you have any questions, ask away. All right, I'll be chatting with y'all soon.